Alright guys, hope you're doing well, hope you're all keeping safe. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but there's been a little bit of news I kind of want to talk about. Yesterday I talked about there being only 3 months left before we were told the new Division 2 content could be realistically released at the earliest possible opportunity. Of course, this means we all expect the content to come out when this final season is over, which brings us to early December. Well, today, fellow content creator and friend Kamikaze Von Doom reached out to me on Twitter, pointing out that the final season has an ending time of 22 weeks, 6 days, and 6 hours at the time of him taking the screenshot live in game. Now, this brings us to Valentine's Day next year. Is this a mistake? Was this intentional and maybe teasing something else, or are we really waiting another 6 months for new Division 2 content? Leave your own thoughts in the comments down below and let's talk. When Von Doom reached out to me with this news, with this revelation, my immediate reaction was, this has to be a mistake. I remember some time ago, I can't remember exactly when, I can't put my finger on it, but a similar thing has happened before. We had a season launch, the timer was crazy long, it was definitely incorrect, and it was changed shortly afterwards. It's possible the same thing is happening here, but we're not going to know for at least a couple of days if that's true or not, as I would hope Massive either rectify the mistake or come out and say it's not a mistake and these are the reasons why. Or they could do what they've become very good at and stay silent, which is the most likely thing to happen here if I was a betting man. With that said, you would hope these kind of mistakes, once fixed the first time around, would be severely reduced in the risk of it cropping up again. This then would kind of fuel speculation that the timer is accurate and actually the Division 2 content has been delayed until Valentine's next year, and this is possibly a mistake that we are meant to find out this way. Or the speculation that this timer was deliberate but instead teased the release of Heartlands perhaps. Again, I have to give credit to Von Doom for this information. So let's take the worst case scenario in my eyes. This timer is not wrong. The last seasonal content will end early December of this year, and then we have to wait a further 3 months before we get any Division 2 content and the release of Heartlands. That's the worst case scenario, and how would you guys feel about that? I said in yesterday's video that fortunately, and this has been verified by a few creators I know, YouTube views for Division content has not fallen since December of last year. It's not a perfect metric to determine the engagement levels for a particular game. I've talked about how Twitch numbers don't accurately reflect the engagement for a game before and provided examples as to why. But in this case, it's really all that we have. And by those numbers, those YouTube metrics, it does mean the community is still there and hasn't really waned over the last year, and if anything is eager to start playing again. Whenever I make a news video, especially if it's something to do with new stuff, if I title it, new exotics or new content or we finally heard some, whatever the case may be, if it's news, for the most part, those videos do very well. They certainly do the best out of all of my videos. And that tells me that people are waiting for news. I'm not sure the community, however, is going to stick around another 6 months. With so many games being released soon, many players are going to be pulled away. And that's not to say they won't return. I've said before, the Division offers something that many games simply don't. In fact, I don't think there's any other game out there that offers what the Division have, which is why it's been one of my favourite games over the last couple of years and why many players are still going to return. But it certainly increases the chance that those players won't. Most people who are still here have accepted we have at least another 3 months to wait. But 6 months? Honestly, I don't want to be negative and I hate doing these types of videos, but I think 6 months is too long for most people, especially if it's lip sealed, especially if we're going to be given the treatment we've been given up to this point, which is radio silence. I think if we get to December and we've heard nothing, and this timer is accurate, I think a lot of the people who have been sticking around are going to fall off. As I said, I've seen rumours that this timer might not be a mistake, and actually, this could be teasing the release date of Heartlands. One user on Twitter pointed out that the heart in Heartlands and Valentine's Day work perfectly together, which is, is accurate, but you'd be surprised what these companies are willing to do. So I'm not counting that one out, but it was quite funny to read that, to be honest. The thing is, Heartlands was due to be released within the Q4 window, which means it should come out before the end of the year, between October and the end of December. I know there's been complete silence. Some of that's become a real problem. Some of that everyone has talked about, including myself, a million times. But it was pointed out to me following yesterday's video that Ubisoft have been silent about a current expansion or update due to release shortly for another game of theirs. A game that didn't feature at Gamescom or E3 really. This is not unusual for Ubisoft as a publisher. They do this often. So do you guys think this timer could be revealing the Division Heartlands release date? I personally find that very unlikely, but I do love some speculation. And this has certainly done that. All in all, guys, it's quite possible this timer is a mistake and this will soon be changed. I did search the Reddit forums and Ubisoft forums before making this video to see if the question had been raised and answered by anyone, but couldn't see any threads at all. It's possible that by the time this video goes up, it's been changed and this video would be a waste of time, your time and mine. If it hasn't, it's possible it won't be changed. This was intentional from the devs and we should expect some official communication shortly confirming the same with reasons as to why the content has been pushed back. It's also possible it won't be changed, we won't hear anything from Massive, and it's either still a mistake or it's their way of teasing Heartlands. All of these theories have a possibility of being true, some more than others, but I tell you what would sort this out: communication. So don't expect this to be sorted anytime soon. That's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that a lot of my recent videos haven't had a lot of substance to them, but as you can imagine, there isn't a whole lot to talk about in terms of the game right now. I did promise you guys that if anything came up that I felt was worth a video, or really just anything that I felt that you guys would want to hear about, something like the content in this video where we've had the timer and there's been speculation around it. I do love my speculation videos. If you guys have been following me since the Division 1, when we were transferring over to the Division 2, I did a ton of speculation videos and you guys seem to love that. I enjoy doing it, and this video kind of falls within that because a lot of this is obviously speculation. But I'm sure you guys have seen the timer yourself. You're probably wondering yourself, what is going on? Are we going to have to wait another 6 months? In my honest, brutal opinion, I think it's a mistake. That's what I believe. Because part of me doesn't want to, probably because part of me doesn't want to accept that we're going to have to wait another 6 months for this new content. I couldn't imagine that at all. So that's why I believe it's a mistake. Plus, they have a track record of making these kinds of mistakes and then being rectified. I believe this is probably going to be rectified in the next couple of days. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't already had a response on the forums at the very least to say it's being looked into. That's a little bit of a surprise for me and a little bit of a concern. But overall, I think it will be fixed. I think it's a mistake and we haven't got a lot to worry about in terms of the new content being delayed. It's possible it could be talking about Heartlands release. I do want to hear more about Heartlands. I really do. The people that I've spoke to who have actually played it have said it was good. The footage I saw looked okay. It was early alpha, I believe, or it certainly looked that way. But I'm excited to hear more about that game, and part of the reason why these theories come up is because we've heard very little about the Division 2 content or Heartlands, and so people want to then theorize that anything they're seeing it could be related to those games. And I've seen it previously with a comment from Hamish where he added a bunch of numbers to a comment, and some people said, well, if you added these numbers with these numbers and that numbers, it gives you this date. And it's kind of that theory and speculation. It does not hold a lot of water, but it's still possible, guys. There's been crazier things to have happened. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, Epic out.